Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Now that WoW Classic released, a lot of people ask the question, do we need or want an ESO Classic? I'm Alcast from alcasthq.com. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you always get notified when I upload new content. This video is more a discussion, so let me know in the comment section below what you actually think about this topic. I will give you my opinion on the whole thing. As you know, I have been playing since the beta, basically non-stop. So I've experienced the game how it was pre-1 Tamriel, for example. A lot of players that are new to the game never really saw how the game launched and how it was back then. So I think it's important to actually explain how we got here till today. So the first thing you need to know is that Blizzard was a long established company and World of Warcraft was very successful upon launch. Whereas ZeniMax Online Studio was just basically created for Elder Scrolls Online, so it was their first game. And it also showed when the game launched, because most people actually abandoned the game 1-2 months after the launch because it was just not what people were hoping for. That also had to do with the Elder Scrolls tag, kinda, because Skyrim was so successful and a lot of people looked for or thought they would get something similar. The biggest problem that is holding back ESO, and it doesn't matter whether you would be playing ESO Classic, 1 Tamriel or the current patch, is the server performance issues. The latency and ping is horrible. The mega server structure just doesn't work, or they don't know how to make it work. It just can't handle the load. FPS is another problem. On console, you're playing a PowerPoint presentation at this point, and also on PC it's not a lot better. Sure, they announced the roadmap up ahead, but please remember they have already announced performance increases in the past and it didn't really make a huge difference. So I will believe it when I see it, is my motto here. But even if the roadmap is actually successful, it will still not fix the latency issues that arise from the mega server structure. When we compare ESO combat to any other MMO out there, it's like 10 times faster. And that obviously also causes a lot of issues and stress on the server. In World of Warcraft, you maybe do 1 action per second. So that's not really a problem for the server, even if there's 100 people on one spot. Whereas in ESO, you have 10 actions per second, with all the dots going around, proc sets, enchantments, champion points that have to be calculated, passives, and so on. So you might have 10 actions per second and the server simply can't handle that load. Maybe it's just bad coding, maybe the technology is just not there, maybe the game engine and the mega server don't work well together. It's really hard to say what's the issue, and I personally think the lag problems will never go away, especially in Cyrodiil. It's less of a problem in PvE, but definitely a very big issue in PvP. To get back on topic, ESO Classic is a no for me. The game simply wasn't ready back in the days. It got so much better up till now because of various reasons, and I think the game started gaining popularity with 1 Tamriel, which basically made you able to play with friends from other alliance. Now can be a good and a bad thing, because the game is kind of built up on the free banner war, and back in the days when I was playing Ebonheart Pack, I really didn't want to talk to Daggerfall or Altmeri, because these were the enemy factions and F them, right? That's not really here anymore, that feeling. Like, back in the days when we were raiding, or when 1 Tamriel came around, even if you could play, when people wanted to join our guild, I actually made them reroll Ebonheart Pack characters because I didn't want to see an AD or a DC symbol in the leaderboards. That's how far it basically went, just to give you an example. And stuff like that is not really here anymore. I think it was also a nice part of the game. Same with Cyrodiil. You still have factions, but most people just don't care anymore at this point. And that can be good and bad, I think. 1 Tamriel definitely brought more good things than bad things, in my opinion. The visuals are another big thing. When you look at these old videos here that I keep rolling, the animations were really not good back in the days, so they did actually a good job in revising these. I just wish they would actually fix visual bugs like the weapon surfing or when you're running on the horse, which it looks hilarious, but really, these bugs have been in the game for like 2 years and they're still not fixed. If I had to choose a patch between launch and now, I would probably pick 1.6, simply because I had most fun in PvP and PvE there, on both sides basically. PvP was fun because it was very fast paced and like there was not a lot of proc sets around, people were not tanky like they're now, unkillable. There was just a lot less issues. Sure, it wasn't perfect and I probably remember it as better than it actually was, but that's just the feeling I have. Classes actually felt different, you could make some really cool builds, which these days it just feels class identity is not really here anymore. They're trying to actually fix that, but we will see how that actually turns out. But I think class identity is a huge problem at the moment that really needs to be fixed. The sooner the better. Now I want to talk about how leveling, questing and scaling was back in the days compared to how it is now. Let's start with questing. So there was a lot of issues on launch where when you were trying to play with your friend but you were not in the same, let's say, step of the quest, that you could not see your friend at all anymore because you were in a different instance. That actually got a lot better. There's still some issues with it, but they mostly managed to actually like reduce that problem so you can better play together with your friends. Leveling and scaling are the two big changes I want to talk a lot about. So back in the days, let's say I was Ebonheart Pact. There was Cadwell's Bronze, Silver and Gold. So once I finished the Ebonheart Pact storyline, that basically was Cadwell's Bronze, so my True Alliance questline, I could actually play the completely different storyline of Daggerfall Covenant or Altmeri Dominion as well with Cadwell's Silver. Now you felt like a hero after completing the, let's say, the Pact storyline, and you went to the Silver and you got deleted by wolves. So you felt like a pleb again and like, okay, here we go again. You had to start being careful, leveling slowly, and go through the quests. Quests actually were very difficult back in the days. Now also, back in the days, most people, including me, did not really know how to play. So that's obviously also a huge difference. They mostly got rid of that. And the thing was, because there was no scaling. So when I was level 10 and I went to the Rift, which is like was like a level 40 zone, I was like, oh boy, I really don't want to be here. This zone is way too high. Compared to today, you're level 3, you can go everywhere. And if you kind of know what you're doing, nothing will be able to kill you. So I think that's bad in a sense of there's just no fear. Like you don't have any fear anymore. It's like, sure, I can choose to go everywhere, but people are already overwhelmed by all the features and the combat the game has. I just feel like it would be better if it would be restricted. Scaling and just how the chapters work also bring another problem. Source basically, or like ESO, allows you to play the newest chapter instantly. So Elsweyr is the newest chapter, is cool, dragons, yada yada, kitties are running around. I want to play it, I want to buy it and play it instantly. You can do that with level 3, no problem. Compared to, let's say, Final Fantasy, a new expansion comes out, well, you gotta grind through all the old content first before even being able to access the new content. I personally think how Final Fantasy handles it is the better way. Especially in ESO, the base game quests and storylines are very nice. They're all voice acted and it's just, the story is actually cool. So I think it would not hurt at all if the people had to go step by step. Now that's my opinion. What do you actually think about this? Like, which way do you feel is better? The tutorials also cause a lot of issues. Every time a new chapter comes out, there's a new tutorial. So the story doesn't really make any sense anymore. To some degree, yes, you play Elsweyr. The story makes sense, but then it's like, oh, okay, now I gotta go back to the Wailing Prison, because that's where the story actually starts. But I was like, it just doesn't make any sense in my opinion. And I think it would just be way better if everybody started in a Wailing Prison, so everybody has the same like starting point, and then give people the choice. If the scaling is still present, give people the choice. Oh, you wanna go to Elsweyr? Way shrine there. Or you wanna go to this? Go there. People will find their ways. The subscription model. Back in the days, it was completely sub-based, so you had to subscribe to play the game. And then they changed it around. You could buy the game, but you actually did not have to sub. But they implemented the clown store. And that gave you options. I think that's a good way. I think sub-based alone is not really a good idea anymore. Because in ESO, even if you don't have a sub, you can still do a lot of things. Because sometimes you don't plan to play a lot and then you don't want to drop 15 bucks into the game. So you can save the money for something else, but still play the game. The ESO sub also gives you a lot of access, like crafting bag, and it gives you a lot of crowns too, more than you actually would buy for like the same amount of money of the sub. That's a nice thing. My only critique is, back in the days, the clown store was cosmetics only, whereas today you can buy riding lessons, you can buy skill lines, you can buy XP scrolls and all that stuff. Sure, you get a lot of these also for free through the daily login rewards, which are nice, especially the XP scrolls, which I always farm. But just in general, I feel like they're focusing too much on the crown store and too much reused assets. Are you actually fine with how the clown store is handled at the moment? Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the juicy like button. I'm currently working on a lot of solo builds. On the website, I want to kind of establish a solo build section. So I'm soloing certain dungeons or overland, and then I want to basically promote the build that way. I will try to get more up soon. If you want to watch any other videos, check out these here. Other than that, check out my other socials, Twitch, website, Twitter, everything is here. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.